because I recently made a video on the same thing, talking about how it's very important to develop the skill of critically thinking and not just taking on the opinions of your favorite influences and regurgitating the opinion and, you know, not thinking for yourself. But you need experience to think for yourself as well at the same time. On ego that you spoke about, how do you think ego death is a good thing or a bad thing? Or do you think ego should be used in a specific way? Or do you think we should avoid all forms of ego?
What's ego?
Ego, I'm talking about in the sense of arrogance.
Okay, so what do you think?
I believe that ego is a tool that was given to us. It wasn't there to be completely destroyed, but we were made to be made aware of it.
Okay, but what is ego?
I think arrogance, acting out of arrogance, acting like you're bigger than yourself, acting like you're bigger than other people, looking down on other people because of your position.
Okay, so it's just a neutral thing?
Well,
So positive or negative?
depends how you use it, right?
Yeah, so then just use it well.
So you don't think it should be completely destroyed?
I mean, use it to motivate yourself. If you're belittling people, then that's on you. You're just living in an illusion, right? If you think you're better than others, you're just dumb.
Yeah.
You can think you're better than others, that's fine, but it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
But you can lie yourself into the delusion of, hey, you know what? Maybe I can become a multimillionaire. Maybe I can actually retire my parents out of poverty and out of a bad job. So you can use ego towards saying like, hey, you're the man.
Mm-hmm.
100%. As long as you don't trump other people and trample people along the way, yeah.
Yeah. So as you mentioned earlier, we live in a golden age right now. I think there's independent educators, independent artists, independent everything. So in a way, there's no excuse really to not make something of yourself. What would you say to the people that feel like they feel like other people are built different?
They are. People are built different. That's why they're better. You have to rebuild yourself if you want a different life. Like, you expect to be a loser with winning results, and your brain isn't getting the signal that your life is shit because you're shit.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, once again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if your life is not great, it's because you are messing up. That's the name of the game. But unsuccessful people, broke people, instead of looking at themselves in the mirror and assuming responsibility, they want to point it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sucks to be like, hey, my life sucks because I suck.
Yeah.
It's not easy, I get it, 100%. However, when you win in life, hey, you're the first one to raise the hand and be like, hey, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
But with that same level of responsibility, you now can dictate what? Your behaviors. So just start inputting positive behaviors, man.
Yeah. Yeah, accountability, I think, is the most important and common trait I've found amongst high performers. On accountability, actually, how far do you think that goes? Do you think you're responsible for not only your actions, but the actions of other people around you as well?
No. You're just responsible for what you do. You're responsible for how you act and how you react to situations that come your way. You'd be surprised how much a good attitude controls a situation, how much control you have of a room and an environment based off of your behavior and your tendency. Somebody always sets the tempo, right? So are you responsible for how other people operate? No, not at all. But can you inspire people to operate a specific way? Absolutely.
We spoke earlier about positioning, right? There's one clip I saw that I really like the example that you gave about banks, right? And where the word bank comes from and where currency comes from, and positioning yourself correctly with the correct network. How do you think, how much do you think understanding money, understanding banks, understanding the flow of things will change things for people?
So it's all about opportunity. You need to go to where the attention is to find opportunity. There's times in crypto where there's massive opportunity because that's where the attention is. So if you position yourself ahead of time, you're going to reap better rewards, or you're going to increase your odds of success. Why? Because you're just positioned better. If you're chasing after an opportunity, like you're chasing a stock that you weren't buying early and getting prepared for, you're chasing it, you're not going to have the same experience. You're not going to have the same level capture of opportunity. So positioning is key, and positioning is important because positioning gives you the ability to anticipate. Remember, we talked about pattern recognition. Pattern recognition lets you anticipate what's going to take place. You know the winter is coming, so you go a couple months before winter rolls around to get ready for what? For winter. Why? Because you know that there's a pattern. There's a pattern for everything in life. How the banks move money, there's a pattern for that. There's a pattern on when elections take place and how the markets react to those elections, how the markets react when different disasters take place. You can analyze patterns, and the best people that analyze patterns make the best predictions. It's all about predictions. Because we talked about this idea of luck, right? And that luck doesn't exist. But what exists is your edge or your probability. And you get your edge and your probability and your information from observation, from observing the things around you. Once you observe the things around you, you identify patterns and you place your bets towards that endeavor. When you start a business, let's say you want to launch an app, you're betting on user demand. You're betting on people still using the App Store. You're betting on people downloading your product. If not, you wouldn't do it. But that's a bet, that's a calculated risk that you're taking based off of where you see the world headed. So if you can position yourself ahead of time and you get it right, you can win.
I think luck is interesting. I think luck, you can increase your surface area for luck, right? Like you said, through positioning, through putting more shots out, through picking up things that you wouldn't have picked up before, because new ideas tend, for me anyway, to come from questions I haven't asked before, or books I haven't read before, or people I haven't spoke to before. So I think luck it can be manufactured in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
In terms of business, again, how important is it for someone to understand how pivotal the vehicle they're in business changes their likelihood of success, or the ceiling in which they can succeed?
I mean, think about it. You want a path of least resistance to the top of the mountain. When people look at the money that they're making, and then the amount of effort that it takes them to make that money, they're like, you know what, at least I worked hard for my money. Bro, money gets printed out of fucking thin air. You need to figure out how to make as much of it for the least amount of effort as possible. Why? Because there's dudes out there that are fucking printing it. I don't think you understand. They're literally printing it. Printing it, and you're out here working for it, slaving away. So you need to ask yourself, how can I get as much money as possible for the least amount of effort? So you need to start a business. You need to be able to understand how to arbitrage. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to market. These basic skills, because the assumption that you're going to find security in a job is a fallacy. They can fire you for any of a million reasons tomorrow. Your skills are what's going to determine if you stay afloat or not, if you have the ability to make money. The job doesn't count. The idea of having a side hustle that you're not actually fully invested doesn't count. You need to be focused on making money. Money is the name of the game. You have to take care of it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people get trapped in a vehicle that is...
It's the wrong one, dude. 10 years to get the app to profitability, getting investors, half-assing a business, not going all in. All these things are roadblocks. But when you boil all these things down, what are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to make money. We're trying to be productive. We're trying to gain freedom. In order to gain freedom, you have to have some sort of financial security under your belt. So whatever business you boil it down to, why would you start something complex until you have your foundation secured? You need to have your foundation secured. Play the game, the low-hanging fruit, which are easily accessible in front of you.
Agreed with you there. So you reap what you sow, right? How important is it for me? I try to tell people to detach from the outcome and just attach to the process instead, because that's all you've got, and the process is molding you and you're molding it at the same time. How does someone operate through detachment?
It's about being present, man. If you get overwhelmed about going to the gym today because you are thinking about the fact that you're gonna have to go to the gym every single day for the rest of your life in order to, and of course you get overwhelmed. If you just say, hey, today I'm going to go to the gym because I am the type of person that goes to the gym, therefore I go to the gym, you go. If you're thinking about, the 10-year business plan, you're gonna get overwhelmed and not be able to operate today because you're not doing the fact in the business that you're supposed to be doing today. Okay, I need to send this invoice. okay, the facts that my business is operating in this capacity, and these are the stats and these are the numbers of today, not tomorrow, gives you what? The foundation to build out into the future. The future is merely what? The cumulative of every single day put together. Every day is literally the laying down. This church, it's the same example. Everything was built individual, brick by brick by brick. After now you see a beautiful building, but every brick was laid out individually. If you don't lay down half of the bricks right, this building wouldn't exist. It would come crumbling down. So it's the cumulative of every single day, efforts consistently over an extended period of time that are going to dictate whether you win at life or not.
Compound effects, right? Eighth wonder. On skill stacking, I think skill stacking is one of the most important things you can do. And one video I made recently was about becoming multi-dimensional, right? So one of the quotes that you love and I love as well by Da Vinci, which is one of your mentors, you say, right, was the understand the science of art, understand the art of science, right? And it all connects. For people to be not only successful in business, but in the rest of their lives, how important is it to develop the ability to connect like opposing ideas or one topic from one area into another area? Do you think that's a useful skill, and how would someone go about developing it?
Well, the reason that everything connects to everything else is because you're interacting with it. So it's how you perceive life and who you are that's going to dictate how you see everything. You'll interact with your marriage, your relationships, your business partners, your employees, your colleagues, the same way you operate with everybody because it's who you are. The reason skill stacking is extremely important is because it gives you the ability to, one, become multidimensional, which we talked about. Two, it's understanding that the skills that you're stacking can also be applied to different areas of life. That's why I call them interchangeable or interlinked skill sets. How you sell, for example, you can utilize selling in your relationship with your children, in the relationship with your business partners, in your contract deals. Persuasion, you can utilize it in multiple verticals of life. So you can take your toolkit or your set of skills and apply it to multiple dimensions. Your ability to negotiate, your ability to market. You know, that's why skill stacking is super important at an early age, because it positions you and gives you an advantage over people that are very niched in the marketplace. You see a lot of people that, you know, practice some sort of profession. They're a dentist or they're a doctor, but their financial literacy skills are terrible. Why? Because they're very unidimensional. And in life, being well-rounded, fully dimensional is what's going to give you the advantage. So it's about establishing a solid foundation of interchangeable, interlinked skills. And then two, it's determining that, once again, you can't learn everything. So what are the things that you want to learn, and why do you want to learn them? There needs to be a reason behind it. And once you find a reason, and it doesn't always have to have an ROI, it can merely be something that you enjoy to do towards an end goal, then you start mastering them. And once everything comes together,